Wow, what a great Coast Up Close you are in store for tonight. We're at the Safe Harbor Pregnancy Medical Center here on 9th Avenue and Bobby Street, and you're going to hear firsthand the great impact and just the lives, babies that are saved, souls saved. It's amazing what happens right inside here. Deidre Miller, the executive director, Bobby Smith, also took some time out to share all that is going on with Safe Harbor. You don't want to miss that. Plus, we're going to go out to the Olive Ministry Village and hear all that's going on with that incredible mission. Drayton Smith, the executive director, took time out. Vanessa Bettis, the director of the Caris House Recovery Center. So much is happening. You don't want to miss it. Buckle up. Let's get to it right now. Well, I'm so pleased to have the executive director of Safe Harbor, Deidre Miller, with us here right now to talk about just the mission and impact and the great resource of Safe Harbor in our community and what it means. So, Deidre, thank you for taking time here. And as the executive director, that's got a lot of responsibility with you. But let's talk about kind of just the mission of Safe Harbor in a nutshell. How would you describe what you do here?
I'm happy to do that. The mission of Safe Harbor is to advance the sanctity of human life and sexual purity and empower families to make healthy, life-affirming choices.
Wow, that's a great thing.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Cool.
The formal mission statement of our ministry, in a nutshell, to protect life, share hope, and empower families.
Wow, very good. So practically, how does that sort of play out? I guess most of the times I would think when a young mother or a mom knows that she's going to be a mom, has a positive pregnancy test, there's probably a lot of panic, uncertainty, maybe fear sometimes. They contact the office here. So kind of walk us through what happens at that point.
Yes. So they're calling, making an appointment for a pregnancy test consultation. During that time, they meet with a client advocate who will lovingly come to understand their circumstances, cast no form of judgment at all, just really listening and hearing the heart of the mom. During that time, she can discuss all of her pregnancy options and help her in the beginning to make an informed decision. And then from there, we offer the ultrasound. It's a limited OB ultrasound where then she can have more information about the development of the pregnancy.
I found somewhere called Safe Harbor, and it said that they would give you, information, and they would give you a free, ultrasound. And at the time I was hoping for a miscarriage. So I was like, okay, well, I'd like to go and just see how everything's doing and see my options. But once I got there and I met Amanda, I was an emotional mess. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, so much regret and just being scared of the unknowns and what ifs. But when I met Amanda, it was destiny for me to meet her. She was like an angel.
When our client comes in, she will be taken to the counseling room where she's educated on her options, and she will just get to talk to the counselor about what she is going through, what her needs are, why she's considering whatever choice is in her mind. And then after she meets with the counselor, then she'll get to come in here and take a pregnancy test. The nurse will come and run that, and then if the result is positive, we'll get to do the ultrasound for her.
We always did the limited pregnancy tests. We always did pregnancy testing, but what is new to us was the introduction of the ultrasound, so that women, after they receive a positive pregnancy test, we're able to offer them a free ultrasound, which will date the pregnancy, obviously tell them how far along they are in the pregnancy, and even more importantly than that, determine if it's even a viable pregnancy. Is it properly placed within the uterus? Is it even viable? And there are statistics that indicate as many as 1 in 4 pregnancies are not viable pregnancies. So this was a very important thing these young women need to know as they're making a pregnancy decision. So offering that to them brings in even more clients.
She calmed me down, and she made me feel like what I was facing wasn't impossible. And she just made me feel that I could do it, and that it didn't matter what anyone thought. It only mattered what God thought, and she made me see the good things that could come out of this.
We have her sit down on the bed and we'll dim the lights, and then we will go from there and see what we can see inside. This machine was given to us by the Psalm 139 group. It is the top of the line machine. It can do everything from Dopplering the heartbeat to 3D, 4D. Sometimes, they're at a very precarious moment. They're terrified. They don't know what to do, and they don't know what's happening inside. So hopefully the information that we can give them will empower them just a little bit more to hopefully choose life.
Of course, it is an opportunity for the mom to see the humanity of her baby on the screen.
Yeah, through the ultrasound.
Through the ultrasound.
That's got to be a very powerful
It
thing.
is. It is. I think of a recent client who I witnessed her ultrasound, and she was watching her 6-week baby on the screen, and then the ultrasound tech flipped on the Doppler, which is the hearing component. You can hear the heartbeat.
Wow.
And she just all of a sudden threw her hand over her mouth and began to weep. And this was an abortion-determined woman, and in a moment, her heart was turned.
I really don't think I would have chosen life without Safe Harbor. They just offered so much support and guidance, and just a lending ear from someone who really cared about me, and I could tell they really did.
I know Deidre shared some of the, at least one of the amazing stories of a young lady who was very abortion determined. And first, hearing that heartbeat for the very first time was absolutely a game changer for her. And we see that on a regular basis. It's very, very common because it does illustrate the humanity of the unborn. And I think up to that point, a lot of young women don't realize that what they're carrying is a baby. And it's not a mass of cells or a bunch of tissue. And so it is an amazing thing to watch that transformation in a young lady. From being abortion determined or what we call abortion vulnerable to changing that to I'm going to be a mom, which is really exciting.
Wow, because it like you said, brings the humanity of what it's truly a baby and not just some fetal tissue.
Exactly.
Impersonal. And
exactly.
Wow,
they can see that heart beating, and then to hear it is powerful.
Yeah.
No other word for it.
So ever since our last visit, Chloe has been born. So this is Chloe. So she is 3 months old now, almost, and she is just the love of my life. And I am so happy for everyone at Safe Harbor, especially Miss Amanda and Miss Deidre, that have helped me so much, and she would not be here without them, and I'm just so thankful for them.
So does Safe Harbor, at that point, do you provide services or counsel to help, the mother through the pregnancy
Exactly.
and beyond, or how does that work?
Exactly. The initial consultation is just the very beginning, and once the decision to move forward with the pregnancy occurs, Safe Harbor jumps on board with a wealth of support through our pregnancy and parenting education programs. And also for the dads, we have a fatherhood program and childbirth classes and such. There's much here to provide families as they move forward in their pregnancies with hope and compassion, education. All of these things are valuable to parents. And then as well, our baby boutique, where there's plenty of resources for developing that nursery and crib and car seats, those kinds of items that are necessary for families.
Our predominant work with families is prior to. We do have parenting programs available for both moms and dads. We love the fact that we now have a practical fatherhood program. So they go through courses just like the ladies do, which is awesome. And then we are available after the fact to continue to encourage and help them in practical ways if we can. So we're available from beginning through the whole pregnancy process, and then ongoing after that as well.
Deidre, do you have an idea in a given year, on average, how many contacts you will make, either phone or in-person visits with
In-person visits last year for 2021, we had over 1,700 client visits, correct?
Wow.
Yeah, 800 and about 19 pregnancy tests were performed, 577 ultrasounds.
Oh my goodness, yes,
and I
you
think
know that.
we do. I've had to report it, and these are God's wonderful works. I mean, He's at the helm of this ministry. He loves families, and we are just His vessels to help support families in our community. And the education, I mean, I think there was like 360 education appointments that occurred here for moms and dads.
One thing that I would like to mention too is we do have an abortion recovery program, which a lot of people are not aware of, for women who have been wounded by an abortion in their past. We find that a lot of them carry guilt and shame and regret, and a lot of times lifestyle choices are affected by these feelings. So we do offer an abortion recovery Bible study that we offer to women, and it is an amazing time of healing and restoration for these ladies who sometimes, it's been decades sometimes since their abortion, and they finally can receive freedom from that guilt and that shame and those lifestyle choices that have been very detrimental to them.
Can I tell you that the greatest, two of the greatest things that occurred last year?
Of course.
Yes. So 165 mamas who were at risk for terminating their pregnancies chose life.
Okay.
165 babies' lives were spared from abortion last year. And the gospel is the foundation of why we do what we do here. I believe there were like 300 gospel presentations, and 33 women chose Jesus for their eternal life. So we are about saving lives, yes. We are seeking volunteers in the medical area of our ministry, cleaning volunteers, prayer warriors. We're always, we're in a battle. We need those prayer warriors along our side daily, praying that those moms who are discovering that they're pregnant will find their way to Safe Harbor.
Yes.
And so they can experience our ministry here of hope and of compassion.
So one of the greatest needs we have is for more nurses and sonographers to volunteer. We are opening up some services. We're making some additional services available to our clients, and that will increase our need for more people to volunteer and come beside us and fight for life.
And then finances are continuous. Those who have a passion for this ministry and would like to financially support us and keep the ongoing operations occurring, they can go to shfriends.org, where they can find our donate page and they can give. They can give and even set up a reoccurring gift.
And that's shfriends.org.
You got it.
Okay, very good. Well, it's right there on the screen. Please take note of that, and certainly do, as Deidre, just suggested, at least pray and certainly support if you can, and as the Lord leads. And there's, of course, room for you to serve here as well. You heard the great impact that Safe Harbor is having, and so we want you to be a part of that in any which way you feel led. So absolutely, Deidre. Well, thank you. Again,
Thank you.
So exciting that this is right here in our area doing such a valuable service in our community.
It's a blessing. Thank you.
What gives me the most joy is coming into work every day and getting to watch God move in people's lives, getting to watch women stand up and take a step and be brave and choose life.
I had my own unplanned pregnancy story at 19. Yeah, then my parents wanted me to abort, and I ended up choosing life, and then I married the father, and then was soon divorced but pregnant again, and had 2 little boys as a single mom and 21 years old. Nathan and Mark are 13 months apart, my 37 and 36-year-old sons. And then my husband, we met and were married, and soon after we were married, he adopted Nathan and Mark. And then we have Clint together. It's a story that God used, and I never pursued pregnancy center work. I saw Diane speak once and express the need for volunteers, and in my heart I was like, oh, I would like to do that. I think I would like to help a young woman like I was helped. There was a couple of women that the Lord used to encourage me in that journey. So he used it, and here we are.
When I found out that I was pregnant with Caleb, at first it was a happy moment. My initial reaction was never to go into a route of termination. My initial reaction was, how am I going to do this? And as I started opening up and telling more people that I was pregnant, I immediately was having everyone tell me how I was wrong, how I was being selfish, how this was not the right choice. This would be a hindrance on me, and this would be wrong to do to my children. There was just not one person gave me a glimmer of hope. And it's a very diminishing and demeaning and very awful feeling to be pregnant and being told by everyone, you're wrong for being pregnant. And I just kept thinking, nobody's gonna walk this life in my shoes but me. I can't let someone else make my choice for me. Everyone's telling me that this was the right thing to do, but every fiber of my being knew it was wrong. So I got in my car and I started hauling butt down the road. And I remember I started Googling Christian pregnancy clinics, and Safe Harbor popped up. And lo and behold, they picked up. Megan was the first person I met at the door.
The first time Raquel came to Safe Harbor, I remember the receptionist telling me she had called to see if she could come in. She had just left the abortion clinic. I sensed that Raquel was very conflicted inside. I quickly learned that she was a follower of Christ, although she wasn't walking with him at the moment. But she knew deep down that this probably was not the right thing, but everybody in her life was telling her it was. And she just needed that one voice of truth to help her find her way through the darkness.
I knew that there was hope. And then she offered me, she said, well, do you want an ultrasound? That was awesome. And just to see their reaction, and it was just joy. And that's the first time I heard, it's a baby. All I kept wanting to see was that flicker from the heartbeat. And I mean, his heart was racing.
I'm really grateful for all of the people who support Safe Harbor and who donate to us, because it gives me and others the ability to minister to women and be the hands and feet of Jesus to them when they come in at a time when they're most vulnerable in their lives. God is using us in ways to reach women who may never walk through the doors of a church or don't even know Jesus. We might get the opportunity to share him and help lead them to Jesus to help them through their crisis.
The ministry village at Olive it started with a vision, and Pastor Ted Traylor had this vision, and that vision came through a group of other people as well to minister to the community. So it started, Olive Baptist Church is the founder, if you will, and then as it has grown, Ministry Village at Olive has become its own entity. Ministry Village accomplishes the purposes by expressing the love of Christ to all people through acts of service. And those acts of service is our Caris House, where we have women with addiction recovery coming in, and that's a 2-year program that's modeled. And through that 2-year program, we offer them employment here in the office at Ministry Village, and also through the Bargain Center, and sometimes even through the Early Learning Center. So they go through counseling, they have a job opportunity, they're able to, if they're in need of driver's license, social security cards, all of those credentials, then we're able to help that.
Okay, Care's House is a substance abuse program for women, and we have 3 different phases, phase 1, 2, and 3. Phase 1 is the primary phase where they come in and work on the deep-rooted issues with drugs and alcohol. Our second phase is extended phase where they continue to work on their recovery, and they're allowed to go to work or school to further their education and start saving money to transition back out into the community. Phase 3 is our transitional phase, where it's an extended time of the program where we teach them life skills, financial budgeting to help them to get ready to prepare back into the community. Well, we have teachers, they're all volunteers that comes in and teach the ladies Monday through Friday, and they teach the phenomenal material. And all our curriculum is Bible-based, and it's material such as boundaries, relapse prevention, life skills, budgeting, those sort. So there's no cost for each individual lady to come through the program. It's through donations.
And then through Tender Hearts Caring Hands, we have a food ministry, a food pantry. We also have transient bags, so if someone's just coming up off the sidewalk and needs something for the day, they don't necessarily have a place to cook. There's food items in there that they can use just eating out of a can, a Pop Top, crackers, any of those kind of things.
Tender Hearts Caring Hands is a ministry under Ministry Village at Olive, which is the benevolent program. We do have the Keep the Lights On program, which assists people with their past due electric bill. We also extend that to housing and to other utilities. And we also have the food pantry. We do food drives, the 5th Sunday food drive. Anything that the community needs when they knock on the door, we try to assist with that. Our focus right now with the community is the homeless population. And so we had a shower trailer for a time, and we plan on getting another one just to meet the basic needs of individuals. I think one of the most rewarding part is at Christmas time, we have what's called Adoptive Family, and I partner with 5 different local elementary schools, and their guidance counselors give me 3 needy families out in the community, and then the whole church gets involved. The connection groups adopt these families. And so they provide a Christmas. It can be all the way to the Christmas tree itself and the presents, so that these people can have a Christmas, so the children can have a Christmas. When we meet the basic needs of people, it allows them to focus on things beyond that, such as the love of Jesus Christ.
We have Most Excellent Way and the jail ministry. Now, Most Excellent Way meets here on the Olive campus 2 nights a week, and that's also part of the addiction recovery program. A very great ministry. Our Warrington campus will start having Most Excellent Way back on that campus as well very soon.
Well, basically, what I can say about the Most Excellent Way is we are for lack of a better term, a Christian alternative to the secular AAs and NAs and stuff like that. I went to AA meetings for many, many years, and they just didn't have the same spiritual impact that the Most Excellent Way had on me. Unlike secular programs where they tell you that once an addict or once an alcoholic, you're always an addict or an alcoholic, and at the Most Excellent Way, we believe a person can be totally free from addiction and compulsive behavior. However, it takes the indwelling Spirit of Christ Jesus in order to do that. We meet at Olive Baptist Church here on Tuesday and Friday evenings. We start the meetings sharp at 7 o'clock, and we end sharply at 8:30. Don't knock it if you haven't tried it. You know, at the Most Excellent Way, we're not going to beat you over the head. We're not going to tie you down and force you to admit that you're a drug addict or an alcoholic or anything like that. We are a Christian fellowship support group.
we're going to have 3 of our former Cares House ladies videos that graduated back in October of last year, 2021.
My name is Brittany Black. I'm 23 years old and I'm from Troy, Alabama. I was a drug addict for part of my life and I was very broken and very lonely. I was left beaten and broken and very alone. The day that I got arrested, I fell to my knees and asked Christ to come into my heart and save me from the way that I was living. Now Christ has restored so many relationships between me and my family and has brought me and my daughter closer together.
My name is Jessica. I'm 30 years old. I am a heroin addict for the last 14 years. I struggled with that. I was incarcerated for most of my adult life in and out of jail. I lost my father at a young age from a drug overdose as well. And I finally just went, when I got arrested, I said, God, I'm tired. I'm exhausted of this life. So please help me. I cannot do it on my own anymore. I just cried out to him and asked him to please save me and come into my heart. So after that, I was sentenced to the Cares House, and the Cares House completely changed my life and saved my life. It is the best program and decision I've ever made in my entire life. I just give thanks to all there that support me and my family. I couldn't have done it without them.
Hi, my name is Alicia. I am 44 years old. I'm from Rossington, Alabama, and I moved to Perdido Key, Florida when I was 15 years old. I was a lost, hopeless, alcoholic, and drug addict for many, many years until one day God took me by the hand and said, let me lead you from the dark to the light. April 15th of 2020, I came into the Cares House. I was ready to surrender all. That's what I did. Cares House has taught me many, many things, not only structure, the word, and brought me closer to God more than I could ever imagine. One thing about addiction is that it doesn't discriminate. It comes in all ages, shapes, sizes, colors, whatever. You need God. He's got his arms open to you. I thank God for this miracle in my life. I want to thank the Cares House. I want to thank God up above. I want to thank my family that supported me through all this. I was once lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I'm see. Thanks for letting me share.
Well, I told you it was going to be a power pack Coast Up Close. We're going to have to say goodnight from the Safe Harbor Pregnancy Medical Center. What an amazing ministry this is. I want to thank Deidre Miller, Bobby Grubb for taking time out to share the vision and what happens, all the great impact of what Safe Harbor does. It's just wonderful. So please consider your support for them. Also, another very amazing ministry, the Ministry Village at Olive, and doing such an amazing work there as well. Drayton Smith, thank you. Vanessa Bettis as well for the great work. So 2 viable ministries right here in our area to pray and support however the Lord leads you. That is for sure. Let's just be obedient and faithful to that. All right, well, listen, somewhere along the Gulf Coast, we'll be back here having another good time in Him.